Hi everyone, my name is Angela Nguyen and I wanted to welcome you to my YouTube channel, The Leader Within. I will be launching a new podcast series called The Leader Within starting September 26, 2023. And prior to that, I've been piecing together a few videos that kind of go over the journey that led to the inception of this podcast, the why behind it, and some of the what that you can expect. And I've already promoted it on LinkedIn. So I was like, why would I not put it together here so that you can kind of get a flavor of whether or not you want to join me on this journey. So after listening to these videos that I've put together for you, if you are excited and you are a growth-oriented individual and or leader who is excited to unleash your potential and or your organization's potential, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey so that we can empower the leader within together. In 2021, when I was juggling a 9-to-5 job, producing a podcast, and building a side hustle, the grind led to burnout and depression, forcing me to take a year off. During this time, I had an epiphany. Growing up as a child of immigrant parents who fled a war-torn zone, hard work and the constant need to hustle was ingrained in me. And it made me realize I never actually did anything for fun. And if an activity did not serve a purpose in helping me build my future, I had no space for it in my life. However, I realized this is not healthy for me. And that most times I would just go with the motions of life and instead of being present. So this break allowed me to pick up a new hobby, recharge, and evaluate whether or not I wanted to continue podcasting. And it allowed me to pinpoint the impact that I wanted to make. And I still do, and I'm still going to hustle, but in a more sustainable fashion. And this is where I met Monique Bryan, a personal branding coach. Funny enough, I reached out to her as a potential guest, but our initial conversation took an unexpected turn and went from me getting to know whether or not there'd be a potential fit for her as a guest, and vice versa, of course, to her asking me questions about the why and the what. Before I knew it, her curiosity and infectious energy made me want to work with her because she helped me identify the gaps in my podcast/plan. And I was like, I need to bring you on board to help me refine this whole thing. So you might be wondering, with everyone and their dog having a podcast, what sets mine apart? Well, in my next post, you'll find out why. So after working in over 5 different industries while getting exposure to bootstrapping startups, to working in an organization with 15,000 plus employees as an HR professional, I've realized that hard work alone is not enough for one to succeed. Success often depends on factors that are beyond our control, like timing, luck, and hidden biases. That is why I want to focus on what is within our control. And I've noticed that to thrive and effectively lead through change, we must start by focusing on the leader within. The better that we can understand and lead ourselves, the better that we're able to understand others and lead them. And that's why I'm launching the Leader Within podcast this fall. We'll explore what it takes to unlock an individual and an organization's potential, specifically through the lens of a visible minority. So if this intrigues you, stay tuned for my next post to discover the what and the who that will be involved in this podcast. Hi everyone! In my previous 2 posts, I shared the journey that led to the why behind my upcoming podcast series, The Leader Within, which is launching on September 26th. Now let's dive into the what. So through my experience from working across 5 different industries to climbing the corporate ladder and bootstrapping a startup, I've discovered that principles are few and methods are many. In other words, the lessons and knowledge gained from these varied life experiences can be valuable in the business and the corporate world. For instance, they've enabled me to think creatively. It allows me to fluctuate between big picture thinking and being in the weeds, and I've been able to stay resourceful. So here are the 5 key lessons that have shaped the what, aka the content pillars of my podcast. So lesson number 1, identify the gaps and fill them. In the corporate sense, you need to understand your organization's priorities, the gaps, and how they align with your skills and goals. Then be your number 1 advocate in terms of how you'll fill those gaps and support the priorities. Because remember, leadership is a two-way street. The easier you can help your leader help you, the more you'll set yourself up for success. And this principle also applies in the business world. By effectively identifying gaps and clearly communicating how you can fill them, it makes it easier for others to leverage your abilities and see if you're the best fit for them. Lesson number 2, visibility matters. Whether it's an internal project team that's being stood up or externally when you're promoting a product or service, staying top of mind is crucial because out of sight, out of mind, especially in a world full of distractions, it can lead to missed opportunities if you're not staying visible and top of mind. Lesson number 3, your network is your net worth. Going at it alone, whether it's landing your ideal opportunity, trying to capture a new client, or providing an innovative solution to the market, it can slow your growth if you try to do it all by yourself. Building relationships, having career sponsors, quality referrals, super fans, or brand ambassadors can significantly boost your progress and reputation. And another example of this is when you're trying to solve a difficult problem, whether it's in the corporate or business sense, if you can engage the stakeholders that will be impacted by your decisions, you'll increase the chances of coming up with practical solutions that positively impact the bottom line and not just have a solution that is nice in theory, but makes absolutely no sense in reality. Which brings me to lesson number 4, create win-win situations. Helping others advance in their endeavors or recommending a better fit to a prospective client, especially when you're like, I don't know if it's good for us to work together, it actually builds trust and credibility. So now the 5th lesson and final lesson that I was going to share is get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Change is constant and unexpected events are inevitable. So developing the ability to effectively manage change, staying agile, having a growth-oriented mindset, and cultivating resilience is key to overcoming challenges and adapting. So you might ask, okay, so based on these 5 key lessons learned, what content pillars did you decide to focus on? Well, my 6 content pillars include human-centric leadership, diversity, equity, and inclusion, specifically the biases, barriers, and behaviors that may impact lasting change management and resilience, building community, personal branding and self-improvement, and finding alignment/passion. So if you're a growth-oriented individual and or a leader, join me on this journey through inspiring guest discussions. Together, we'll work towards unlocking both your potential and your organizations. See you soon.